Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we'll be going over how to interpret your dreams. So it can take some time to interpret the dream images that you see. You can hop on the internet, use an external source of information, or bounce ideas off someone. And these things can initially help you when you're first learning about your dreams. But this is really not the best thing to do because you are the one seeing the images in your dreams and thinking the thoughts you think. If I see a particular dream image, it can make me feel one way and make someone else feel a completely different way. So can someone really know why you see what you see in a dream? Possibly, but probably not. This is why you are the best interpreter for your own dreams. And I will give you some tools to help you interpret them yourself. So the first thing and the only thing that you really need to do first is, you may have guessed it, you need to start a dream journal. Because how are you going to interpret your dreams if you don't remember them in the first place? So the first thing I want you all to do is to start writing your dreams out or typing them out on your phone. Neural connections between the parts of your brain that generate dreams and the parts of your brain that remember them need to be built in order for you to consistently remember your dreams. If you skip this step, it's like expecting that you can just lift a very heavy weight instantly. But in reality, you need to progressively build the strength in order to do that. So first, you need to build the brain power and neural connections in order for you to consistently remember your dreams. And once again, this is done by starting your dream journal and continuously updating it. You just need to write or type out a few words every single morning as soon as you wake up. And the more you do this, the more you will remember your dreams. It's very easy to do, but make sure that you start doing it today and you are consistent with it. Once you get to the point of being able to remember lots of details from your dreams, this will help you get a very accurate dream interpretation. Take this for example. If I simply wrote, "I saw my dad in my dreams last night," I'd be able to extract a meaning from this, but it would be very vague and not particular at all. But if I'm able to remember more, and instead I write something like this: "I saw my dad in my dreams last night. He was running very fast down a road. He looked stressed and he was screaming. My mom was at the end of the road and she looked like she needed help with something. There was a pile of meat beside my mom and she looked troubled. And when I listened closer to what my dad was screaming about, he was telling my mom to cook some meatloaf rather than pork chops." With this description, I can now extract a way more accurate interpretation of what the dream may mean. This is why you need to write your dreams down and develop the ability to remember as much detail as possible from them. So remember what that first thing to do is. Make sure you start writing your dreams down. The next 4 things I'm going to explain do not need to be done in any particular order. So the second thing to do is, you need to gather the most memorable dream images and the most memorable emotions that you experienced in your dreams. Think of how these things can be metaphoric for something that you've dealt with in the past or something that you're going to be dealing with in the future. By doing this, you will reinforce your memory of everything that you experienced in your dreams, and it will help you remember additional details that you may have forgotten. You will now have the key things to focus on from your dreams, which will help you hone in on a specific meaning. When I type out my dreams, I sometimes highlight words that stick out. An example directly from one of my dream logs in the past is, I am in a large middle part of what seems to be an auditorium. I am sitting with my friend. I'm disappointed in some way. I go to the halls that are on my right and left. They end up leading to one another in a circular fashion. I move through the hallways very quickly and see lockers on each side. I make it back to the middle portion with my friend. There seems to be many levels going upwards in the auditorium, similar to the TVA library in the show Loki. My friend is sitting there. He is not moving. He is just still. Suddenly, the dream ends. The words and emotions I emphasized and their possible meanings were auditorium, and this could mean speaking out loud about something. My friend, this particular friend could have appeared because I spoke to him recently. Disappointment, and I could have experienced this within the last few days from when I had this dream. Hallways on my left and right, which could mean I have to make a decision about something, or it could represent pathways leading to places. Circular fashion, which could mean doing something over and over. Lockers, which can be used to store belongings that could hold memories or feelings. Levels going upwards, which could represent getting better at something or reaching a new level in my life. And a library, which is used to store information and knowledge. specifically a library that looked like the library in the show Loki, which I had also watched recently from the point when I had this dream. Doing this helped me isolate the specific and particular points of the dream, which then helped me extract a meaning from each one of them. Later on in the video, I will explain how I specifically interpreted this dream and these symbols. But for now, let's move on to the third thing, which is to ask yourself these two questions. How did what I saw make me feel and think in the dream? And how did what I saw make me feel and think in waking life? So I'll give you an example to help you understand. When I was seeking a job many years ago, I asked my dreams to help me make a decision on an offer that I received. That night, I had a dream that made me feel weird, uneasy, uncomfortable, and think really bad thoughts. I saw images that were so disturbing that I woke up sweating and nervous about this particular job. I felt all negative feelings and had negative thoughts in the dream and when I woke up too. I took this as a sign that I should decline the job offer, but I still went to the job location to see what would happen. When I got there, one of the employees told me that the current manager was causing him lots of stress, making him feel uneasy, and making him feel uncomfortable. He was hesitant to keep working at that specific location because of the manager, even though he did love his profession. The employee said that other employees felt the same way, and this employee was actually in the process of quitting. So I declined the offer, and shortly after, I learned that many people quit and the manager left as well. My dreams had steered me in the correct direction, and I had used those two questions to get a clear and concise answer on what to do after having that dream. Another example is when I had a dream that I was giving a presentation in front of a massive lecture hall on meditation. In the dream, there were several hundred people. I could feel their gazes as I walked on stage. I felt nervous in the dream because I may mess up, and I thought that I might say something wrong. But I still stayed on stage, and everything went well in the dream. When I woke up, I asked myself those two questions. In the dream, I felt nervous, and I thought that I might mess up. And in waking life, when I thought about the dream, I felt perfectly calm, and everything went well too. I took this as a sign that I may need to practice teaching a bit more in order to build more confidence in myself. So see how in the dream I felt negative feelings and thought negative thoughts, but in waking life I felt absolutely fine and I actually gained some insight on how to improve myself. So overall, it was a positive, constructive dream. This is why you need to review your dream journal and ask yourself those two questions as much as possible in order to get an accurate dream interpretation, because you can feel and think different things in the dream and in waking life. Now we can move on to the fourth thing, which is to remember the part of the night that you had the dream in. This is what I noticed after analyzing my dreams for so many years. In the first half of the night, you'll usually have dreams about stuff that you're analyzing and processing from the previous days or from the past. In the second half of the night, you're most likely going to have dreams about the future or things that will happen in the next few days. Here are some examples to help you understand. 3 weeks ago, I had a dream where I saw a car flipped upside down on my street. On the particular night that I had the dream, that was the first dream that I had of the night. When I was analyzing this dream, I remembered that 2 days before I had that dream, I had seen a story on the news about a car that had flipped over and had gone upside down on the highway. The image I saw was disturbing because the car had literally flipped upside down on the highway and then flown off and landed on a road underneath the highway. That was the exact image that I saw in the dream. It was the first dream of the night, and that meant that my mind was still processing what I saw from a few days ago. Then when it comes to having precognition, premonitions, or prophetic dreams, more often than not, they occur in the second half of the night and usually as soon as I wake up and get out of bed. So always keep these things in mind in order to extract an accurate meaning from your dreams. Now we can move on to the fifth thing, which is to notice if you re-enter a dream multiple times in one night, if you have the same dreams multiple times in a night, and if you have the same dreams multiple nights in a row. If you experience any of these, it usually means that the dream is very important and you need to act on it sooner than later. A recent example of this comes from a friend of mine who has been dreaming about their friend for several days. If I had to interpret this, I would say that my friend has to get in contact with that person as soon as possible because something has to be addressed. The urgency is clear because my friend has been having the same dream multiple times over and over for many nights in a row. And the sixth and final step is to take all this information and come up with a clear, simple, and concise dream interpretation. So now I'll give you an example going through the whole process using the dream I explained at the beginning of the video about my friend and I in the auditorium. First thing, I wrote down the dream in as much detail as possible, exactly how I read it at the beginning of the video. Second thing, I took down the main dream images, the main emotions that I felt, and the possible metaphoric explanations for all of them, just as I explained in the beginning of the video as well. Third thing, I asked myself those two questions, and here's what I wrote in response to them. How did what I saw make me feel and think in the dream? I was not happy to be around my friend because he seemed to be motionless and still. Even after I explored everything in the dream and I got back to where he was still in the same spot and hadn't gone anywhere. I didn't go up to the higher levels in the dream because I felt like my friend was keeping me down at the bottom. I felt like my friend may have been holding me back from getting something done in the dream. And I thought that I needed to stay on the same level as him in the dream. How did what I saw make me feel and think in waking life? I feel hopeful because I know that we can still get better at the things that we enjoy doing, and I think we can still improve ourselves in order to reach new levels in the things that we love doing. And the fourth thing, this was the first dream that I had of the night, and I had spoken with my friend a few days before having this dream. We had discussed things that were going on in the current times and what we could do to improve our lives. I had also recently started watching the Loki show on TV, so this dream must have been representative of things that I had seen in the past and from the past few days specifically. The fifth thing, I did not re-enter the dream multiple times, meaning that it was most likely not so urgent and I did not have to act immediately on this. And the sixth and final thing, my final dream interpretation was, this dream may represent reaching new levels of accomplishment and doing new things while still doing the things that I love to do, but just doing them in different ways. I should avoid going in circles and staying in the same spot that I've been in for a while. And if I do happen to go in a circle, I could still move in that circular spiral fashion, getting better at things that I love doing by altering and changing small variables in them. An example of this would be, rather than doing push-ups like I normally did them, I can try doing one-arm push-ups, or I can elevate my legs, or I can do them on an unstable surface in order to build strength or build new movement patterns. Or if I've been playing the same character in a video game, I can try playing another character and still get better at the game, but I'm just doing something a little bit new. This is one complete example dream interpretation. Please keep in mind that the second, third, fourth, and fifth things that I mentioned can be done in any order, but the first thing that you must always do is write your dreams down in as much detail as possible. And the last thing that you do is come up with that dream interpretation. So just to review, here are the things that you do. First thing, write your dreams down in as much detail as possible. The second thing is to gather the main dream images that you saw and the emotions that you felt, then come up with the possible metaphoric explanations for those dream images. The third thing is to ask yourself those two questions. How did what I saw make me feel and think in the dream? And how did what I saw make me feel and think in waking life? The fourth thing is pay attention to the time of night that you had the dream. If it was in the first half of the night, it was most likely about something in the past, and if it was in the second half of the night, it's most likely about something that's going to happen in the future. The fifth thing is to see if you've re-entered a dream multiple times in one night, if you've had the same dream or similar dream images in one night, or if you've had the same dream or similar dream images multiple nights in a row for a week or even for a few months. This will determine how important a dream is and whether or not you need to act on it with urgency. And the sixth thing to do is to finally come up with a clear, simple, concise dream interpretation. There's a few final points that I'd like to mention. You can spend a lot of time interpreting your dreams, and you can still be left with questions, or you can end up interpreting it incorrectly. I've had times when I interpreted a dream and I thought it meant one thing, and it ended up meaning something else, or it ended up being a precognitive dream where I saw exactly what was going to happen in the dream, exactly how it would play out in the future. No matter what, the most important thing is to simply write your dreams down and live your life. And eventually you will see what happens. And you'll just end up realizing what the dream meant through living your life. You may sometimes get intuition on whether or not you have to interpret a dream, and when you get that feeling, it's usually best to follow it. And if you're ever struggling in trying to find the meaning of a particular dream image, you can think of the universal meaning of whatever you saw to help. Take, for example, if you saw a squirrel in your dream. The universal meaning of a squirrel is gathering, storing, and preparing things for the future because of the animal's habits. But usually, it's always best to apply what you think and what you feel when thinking of the potential metaphoric explanations for the dream images that you see. Everything I've mentioned has helped me interpret my dreams for so many years with as high accuracy as possible. I'm currently at the point where I can go through this whole process and get an accurate dream interpretation within minutes. But remember, I've been doing this for such a long time. And like I always say, if you put in the time and you are consistent, you will get results. You now have the tools to accurately and effectively interpret your dreams. I believe in you guys. That's it for today's video, but I would still like to know, what do you guys do to interpret your dreams? And if you use any of the tips that I mentioned in this video, did they help you get an accurate dream interpretation? I would love to hear any feedback in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I pray that you found this video helpful, and please remember to hit that like button and that subscribe button so we can keep on learning about our dreams together. Until next time, sweet dreams.